All right, here we go again. Another Unreal stream. I got a few things we can talk about today. It's going to be pretty good. I actually got like a list of 4 things I want to talk about today, which is pretty good. Got Dave and Audrey here. Excellent. Nice to see you guys here. Right on the beginning. Oh, and Sean's here. All right, we got Sean here as too. I'm assuming Sarah's going to show up because she's gone to great lengths to make sure that I had the files I needed to. There she is. To make sure that I can give you guys a demo of her project here. And so that's one thing I want to do, and then we're going to see if we can get. I think I actually did finish getting the whole. No, I didn't. I'm not even close. Oh no, wait, no, it did work. Yeah, I do actually have all the editor files from Sarah, all 10 gigabytes. But I also have a working game project, which we're gonna what's it called? Packaged version. I was gonna say projected. That we're gonna do, and then we're taking a look at Fatima's. She's got a FBX file that she wants to set up, and I'm gonna do a little bit of demo with how to work with that workflow. And the other thing I wanted to do was let me take a look at my list. Oh, there's a free environmental material that came along that I posted in the library channel that we're going to talk about, or give it a try actually. I don't even know, I haven't used it yet, so we're going to do a little demo. And the last thing, depending on how much time we have, we're going to try the MetaHuman Maya plugin, which I have right in my screen here. Instructions on how to do it. So it seems like I almost had it last week in terms of what I was going to do, so hopefully it works out. I don't know. We'll find out how far I get with that anyways. But that's the last thing I had on my list. So let's try out Sarah's project here. I haven't actually ran this yet, and we're going to find out how well this works. So I bet you Sarah's got a little bit of butterflies trying to figure out whether this is going to work. So I'm going to run this, and then I also have a device that flips it over to this other screen here. So hopefully this all works. There we go. So here we go, it worked. And it ran instantly. Like, wow, that was fast. That was some quick loading here. I'm just going to Alt-Tab and click this Allow Access thing so that I can actually see the chat here. We got some nice acoustics. Hopefully that's working out. Let me check my desktop audio is not turned on. We'll put that back up again. There we go. We got some beautiful background noises. And we got our hopping kangaroos over here, which is pretty cool. Wow, the audio is amazing. Wow, those kangaroos are working great. Look at that. It's just kind of moving and stopping. Is that using that plugin that you had, Sarah? Where you had the what was it called? That fancy plugin? I can't remember what it's called. You got a bird up in the tree. Oh, and some cockatoos. They're very land-bearing here. It's pretty cool. I don't even know if I'm supposed to... Oh, Floxy, that's the name. Are you using Floxy? Oh, it's all your own blueprints. Oh, there you go. Floxy was like this pretty crazy plugin for doing very complex AI movement. It seemed a little... Oh, I guess you got your bird series over here. That are all flying a nice straight line. Pretty good though, nice subtle part at the top. Ah, YouTube videos for the roof. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty subtle. Like, obviously they have no interaction with me, which doesn't surprise me because that's pretty complex AI. But I do like that they just kind of hop around and then hang out for a while. Feels pretty natural. Oh my goodness, and there's a snake too. I didn't even expect to see that. Which we have slight flickering going on for some reason. If there's like multi-meshes there. Whoa! And there's that wisp off in the cave. Alright, let's go dive in. Wow, these rocks down here. They're quite natural looking under that water there. Alright, I feel drawn to this character. Like I'm supposed to go here or do something. Something's supposed to happen over here. This is a demo, so fair enough if it doesn't do anything. Flying birds are from the Australian Assets Pack Epic gave it. Alright, cool. Oh. These the flowers that you worked on, the models of the flowers and the red ones too? Or are these also from... The game mechs aren't set up yet. Oh, the mechanics. Right. Yes, those are your flowers. Very good. And your trees too, if I remember correctly. These white ones. I can kind of see the poly shape, but I like that texture map you have on it. Follows the grains. I don't know if that's... Are these dynamic lights or are they baked lighting? I have no direction in terms of what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe I'm not supposed to be doing anything, but I feel like going up to this waterfall is a good idea. Oh, you got nice acoustics as you get close to it. That's nice. It's cool. It's just an exploring level. Dynamic lighting. Oh my goodness, there's another wisp over here. I'm really curious to know what the caves are going to be all about. Now, I have to admit, this is actually kind of interesting that you have cave geometry. Is that a static mesh, that piece of geometry here then? Because you can't just make a cave in landscaping. Oh, Sean likes the waterfalls. The spirits are gatekeeps to the new levels. Oh, okay. Whoa! This is... I'm in areas I'm not supposed to be in, I'm pretty sure. Is this... How are you doing this? Is this all one giant static mesh? How do you get it so that there's all this, like... geometry? Oh yeah, made cave meshes in Maya. They are the cave keepers. Oh my goodness, it's the end of the world again. So we're gonna transition to different levels, is that the idea? So you get to inside of the cave, there's a transition loading, and then you... What, you're in the same cave, go into a different part of the landscape? Wow, this is like a dead-end cave over here. You have to complete the tasks they give you, and then allow you into different biomes. I want it to be all... Whoa, I'm falling down a rock. I want it to be all open world. Right, okay. So you go into the cave, you enter a different biome. That's a good idea. I like how you did that. And then you can unload all these assets, load up a different biome, and do it through a cave transition. It's cool. Should have put blocks on the caves. Oh, so that you don't get people like me investigating. He came to me. I don't know. I'm expecting him to do something, like start up a conversation or something. These are nice trees too. I wonder how they're doing that. It looks like it's individual pieces of geometry. Oh yeah, and here's your red flowers. These are the ones that you did as well. I'll have to get some textures on those so that they don't seem so stylized. And they kind of match with these other geometry. Not saying that this is like, you should do this first. I'm just saying eventually that will be an update. I like how they're kind of vining around though. They have an interesting pattern. And they are totally the weirdest looking plants ever, so they do not look like they're from Earth at all. I think I've had that conversation before. Cool, I think I've... Oh, look, these guys are laying down. Nice. In the shade. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I definitely say it feels... The acoustics, everything really makes this feel very natural. I can see right here, there's an image plane of where our water is coming from. This is so hard to get a nice natural waterfall look though, so totally, it's like one of those, you gotta just spend all your time focusing on one element. Wow, what do we got here? I want the Joey attached to an adult so it follows them. Oh, okay. Wow. Right? That sounds sounds like you might just be doing a mesh swap. So you have like a rig with a Joey and a rig without a Joey, and then they just do a swap out. So they were all 3D scanned. All of the other assets. Desert peas are the red ones. Oh, that's what they're called. Desert peas. Cool. Well, I think I've seen the whole thing. It's looking pretty good. Definitely a lot of fun. No menu interface, so I'm gonna Alt F4 my way out of that one. There we go. It's fun. I mean, it's pretty immersive. Marketplace Aussie assets are scanned. Ah, yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, I was great for. Thanks for sharing it. It's nice to have a playable piece like that to watch. I'll be happy to do that with anyone else who wants to show off their work. They actually do these on the Unreal streams. They start off the whole stream and they like do all these like, let's look at everybody's stuff, and then they actually get back into like doing whatever the stream is about. It's fun. Alright, so now we move on to stage 2. I'm not going to bother opening up the project because I know that just doing it is going to cause my computer to go and then all of a sudden things are going to act weird and run weird. And I was going to try and do a pre-load of it, but I never had enough time to get it finished downloading. Plus we got a few things to talk about. Yeah. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is we have a CGI rig that Fatima's uploaded asking how exactly are you going to ever rig this piece, and it was the goal was, or sorry, the problem is that it has it's an FBX file that has a skeleton and it does not have an animation rig on it. So this is a fairly common challenge, and definitely, oh geez, I don't even see the whole skeleton here. So this is actually why I wanted to look at the X-ray on joints. That's what I wanted. This is why I wanted to look at the actual file, because this is where you get to find the real truth of whether this file is easy to use or not. Sarah says, I actually want to stylize your assets rather than making them mine realistic. Oh, okay, so you're going to go the other way around. You're going to bring their assets down to the same style. That's fair. Probably a lot easier than trying to like make everything look photorealistic. Plus, it's sort of like an endless, infinite battle trying to make things look photoreal. It's that uncanny curve of infinity, where once you start down it, it's like it's just there's never an end. There's this perfect. I have been wanting to know how to do this on my cockatoo in my game. Oh, what I'm doing here in this rig. I'm like, what part of my conversation did I say that? And I missed it. So what I'm noticing right away is, I'm going to turn off my desktop audio before everyone keeps checking their Slack, thinking that somebody's messaging them. Has no control rig, but its bones are skinned. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. And in the case of your cockatoo being animatable, it's such a simple joint system that you could, in theory, just animate the joints manually. So you're almost safe on that one. But when you get a character like this, and even with the cockatoo, the hardest part, and we talked about this before, was the hardest part is the feet. You kind of want an IK system for your feet. Otherwise, every time the character moves down, you have to manually rotate all the joints to get the feet to stay on the ground. And if they're walking, of course. Which you can do, but it's just a really manual process, and it's much easier just to build a little IK system for it and then just use your IKs instead. But when you're talking about like a full-on biped like this, then you can't avoid the fact that they're going to be, two of the limbs are going to be stuck on the ground all the time. Not like they go around flying everywhere. It has no control rate, but oh yeah, I did adjust some of the animations that way. Yeah, and it's totally fine. I mean, that's a fairly fine solution for a bird, because most of the time, you know, half of their animations are all flying and stuff anyways, or hopping. Anyway, here we go. No skeleton. So I've only opened up one of the two files, but I'm just going to double check to make sure that we are visibly seeing all the joints. We have these crazy joint naming conventions from the process of converting it from, I think it was Blender via FBX to Maya. Sorry, get lost in my thoughts here. I'm not seeing any joints here. Let me just select the whole hierarchy. Select hierarchy and turn visibility on. Ah, here we go. So many joints. There's two ways to change the joint size. There's on an individual basis, you can adjust the size, and then there's a general world scale for the joints as well. I'm going to select the hierarchy again, but I need to make sure that I have only the joints selected. That didn't work. There's still other things in the selection that is not joint based. These guys. Shoot. Alright, we're gonna do the world one. So we head over to rigging, skeleton. Where's this thing? World joints. Shoot, where is that? I'm gonna have to cheat. Hold on a sec, unless somebody knows the answer. Preferences. There it is. Okay, so obviously this is pretty intimidating in terms of how many joints there is. And I think we only really need to worry about a fairly simple hierarchy here. I feel like I've really done a good number on how exactly this works. If I just grab, let's see, if we can grab the root joint or something. What is the root joint? Is it? The lower half. Because there's two concerns. There's also a concern that the hierarchy itself is potentially not all in the same group. So, which I think it is, but no, technically it's not. There's 3 different groups to it. And what exactly are the other groups? We got this. So this would be your main joint. Oh, here we go. What are these? Collision? Oh, rigid bodies. Alright, well we don't need rigid bodies. Then we have this joints folder, which is like... I don't know. They're locators. I'm gonna get rid of it. Not really totally sure what that means. But if these joints are skinned, then that's a huge portion of the work already completed. So you don't really want to lose all that work that's been put into skinning these joints. I think there's like a whole chunk of tiny itty bitty joints in here. Yeah, so that's pretty complex to deal with. Both from a... Well, I mean, from a rigging standpoint, yeah. Although you just have to grab the top joint, I guess, and it would be the parent. And it would move the whole piece together. Doing capes is always such a pain, as I have discovered while working on Batman, that it really does require a very fine detail about how you do it. Holy joints, Batman, says Sean. Yeah, no kidding. And these might have twist joints too, I'm not sure, but maybe not. No, they don't. They just have the main joints, which is good. So the hierarchy may not be too bad. It's just the cape and the clothing and the fabric. And I don't know if they're all separated. We've got a whole piece here. Oh, it's the entire upper body. Okay. So, I'll talk about the strategy. I talk about the strategy of what I suggested to Fatima, just as a solution, because it's like, okay, well, she doesn't want to like figure out how to re-rig this entire character. So my suggestion was, well, why don't you just animate another character that looks like it and then just retarget it on Unreal. Definitely we could talk about doing that. I definitely would like to try to get this imported on Unreal, make sure that that works fine, which I'm pretty confident will. But also, yet another strategy would be to build another skeleton and then just link and drive these joints with that skeleton. You can do that using, you know, an auto rigger like Advanced Skeleton, or you can do it using HIK and Motion Builder. It does definitely have a few different solutions for how to approach that. I don't know if it's worth doing it in Motion Builder. I mean, I could definitely think about it, but with all these extra cape joints, we're not really going to have a very good solution for that either, for how to do the cape. Unless we could actually, if we bring it on Unreal, we could try painting the cape as cloth and see what happens there. That might be kind of a fun example. But anyway, let's just go to we'll do the quick and dirty solution right now, just to keep things interesting, not get too complex. So it was just like, okay, well, let's go to Advanced Skeleton and build ourselves a rig that looks like this, or if you really wanted to, you could use HIK, but then you have to animate with it. So HIK would be fairly good solution if you're planning on bringing in motion capture and driving motion capture onto it. But if you're trying to hand key it, then I would say Advanced Skeleton is the better animation rig to work with. And you would just want to build, I mean, it's very similar to what we were doing in the previous weeks where we're talking about, you know, the rabbit and stuff. You have a biped that you can import, and then size to your character, and it's microscopic biped down here. And you would just bring it up to the same scale that this character is, and then apply the control rig to it so that it ends up being the same size. Because eventually you're going to end up with two characters that are going to be the same. And so what I'll do, because I'm realizing how complicated this is going to be just to build this human biped skeleton, and I don't really plan on animating it necessarily. We're just going to go straight to the Unreal part, and then we can discuss more interesting solutions from there. Because technically you could use any animation rig that's Unreal compatible. You could just grab one that exists from the Figgins rigs or something too, if you wanted to. If they were, you know, similar size. So I'm going to grab this skeleton here and grab the main brute. I think I'm going to grab this one. We're going to export this out. And we're going to put it into moving grips on, animation off. It's just a skeletal mesh. Friggin' rig. Figgin rig. Friggin' figgin' rig. Or maybe are you genuinely asking that question? Maybe I should go and cover that. Maybe I've got the wrong name, I don't know. Here it is. It was Figgins. I think his site is still good. I thought I heard a friggin' rig. I was like, what's that? These guys. Yeah. Well, it's good that I covered anyways, so that people know what I'm talking about. And we do have some of these rigs available at CG Spectrum to play with. So, you know, one of these characters probably fit pretty close with this other character mesh that you can start animating with. And it will give you a pretty good base model of, you know, animation without having to worry about rigging. Like, it's not perfect. It's going to have some problems. But heck, it's so much, it's like, it unblocks you from the problem, right? That's the important part. All right, we're gonna open up a new project, I guess, because why not? It's not that hard to do. Kyle Figgins, Figgins. Figgins. I remember. No worries. I'm sure Kyle thanks you. Kyle? Keel? Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Kale? 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 Kale Figgins. Alright, we're gonna watch. Oh, did you ever see this animation googly eye thing? That looks pretty interesting. That was another thing I was gonna potentially look at today. Figure out what that was all about. Do some physics dynamic physics to existing animations, I probably will look at that one day. Seems pretty interesting. All right, we're gonna make a new game and make it a blank. Make it all the defaults. Go into temp, student files, schema, select folder, Venti, Googly AI animation. Google AI animation. Sorry, I you're literally. That's funny. It was only a matter of time. Googly AI. That's a great joke. I mean, I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but it's hilarious. Googly eye. Let's see. I gotta import. I'm gonna import the skeletal mesh FBX file that we just did. We feel like we've done this a million times for different characters, so we'll see here. Oh no, failed to import. Failed to create the asset. Done it a million times and then it fails. It's normal. Can't detect type. Oh, what did I grab? It's not the right file. Skeletal mesh. Oh, wait, it's a 3D object. I don't know if I did export it as the right type of file. Let me double check that. Oh, I must have, because I saw all the settings. Maybe we're going to have more troubles than I realize. I don't know why. It seems fairly basic. Sometimes it has to do with the number of the type of skinning it is, whether it's compatible skinning type. We'll try it one more time. Yeah, we're definitely exporting FBXs here. We're using the very latest plugin here. What am I running in 2022? I wonder if I've ever exported FBX in 2022 yet. Let's bring it back a bit. I'm sure the FBX 2020 works fine. So this is probably not the actual problem, but let's see. It's only 708 kilobytes. Oh, I forgot to select the meshes. That's what it was. You gotta have the meshes, otherwise there's no skeleton. Alright, we'll do it one more time. Sarah asks, has anyone tried the animation AI browser app called Monster Mash? No, what is that even about? Animation AI browser app. I feel like I gotta go find out. There we go, it's 2000 megs. Or 2 megs. 2000 kilobytes? Skeletal mesh and import mesh. We haven't made a skeleton yet, so we're just gonna use that one. There we go, now we're getting somewhere. Alright, here's our mesh. Looking pretty decent. We should have all the joints here. Okay. Alright, not too bad. Sean, I have not, but that sounds interesting. Sarah says it's a pretty awesome. I haven't had time to try it out much yet. You're gonna have to make me go and look it up because I'm really curious. Nope, that's not it. AI browser app. Is this it? 2D sketch? Oh, AI, Google Monster Mash Zone, animation tool, Monster Mash demo. Oh, are you just drawing your monster? This is going to be hilarious. I'm going to be drawing the best monster ever, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Animate? Wow! It's beautiful. Let's inflate? This was supposed to be this is supposed to be a third leg, by the way. In perspective. It's always a great thing about drawing legs. Let's see here. Well, that was about it. What does it do? Does it actually do anything? Can you get it to like... Oh, I'm telling it to go places. Did a pretty good job of like actually doing the doing the 3D shape of it. Audrey thought my drawing was beautiful. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. You can also import drawings and images. That's neat. Yeah, no, it's I can see where it can be kind of interesting, especially if you can start like if it can AI sort of a whole rig. But I'm not really understanding that part yet, or maybe I'm just not getting the concept of what it's supposed to do. It keeps talking about animation, but I haven't actually gotten that figured out. You got? Yeah. I guess you're just supposed to like drag him in the same direction? I don't know. You'll have to figure it out. Tell me how to use it. Or whether it does anything more than that. Dave says, it's like you're preparing the monster for biology class dissection. It's my frog. Just make sure I slice in the middle. Sean, I don't know how this works either. Saw it in a blog about it. Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one. How do you animate is my question, but it's definitely interesting. Yeah, like I was making little, looks like joint IK pins or something, but you'd have to like have a key so you can do a second key or something. Unless those points are supposed to represent like you're drawing it where the leg is and where the arms are so that it can like do a... Because there are a lot of tools out there that will do automatic walk cycles. If you can just sort of give it some understanding of where the body is, they can create a walk cycle for you. Just through like, you know, the principle of curves. But yeah, I didn't quite see that interface there. Wow, look at all these different textures. So that's another good question for Fatima is, do you have the textures in that FBX file? Because I did not see any textures here. All we have is a FBX file and, oh, I guess this is a 98 megabyte file. So I don't know, let me go just double check. Because without materials, you're also in a tough spot. No, I don't think there is any. Well, there definitely isn't, because the textures don't get embedded in Maya files, but they do have each of the materials there. Sarah says, click record and move the joints in the curve you want and press play. Well, how do you know what you're... Oh, so you just take one, you record, you shake it around, and then you hit play and it'll just do the shake around again? I guess that kind of works. Kind of would have liked a bit more control in that. But I guess you'd have to like expect people to know how to do an animation pipeline, which is like, alright, fair enough. Then just hit S, scrub your timeline, change your frame rate to 24 frames a second. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the potential there. What was I gonna do after I got this character in? Oh, we're gonna talk about cloth. Let's see if we can get this cloth working. So, activate cloth paint. No assets available. I haven't done this forever doing cloths, so yeah, this is gonna be hilarious. Copy clothing from skeletal mesh, LOD 0. Let's see here. I may get stuck really fast. No assets available. Man, I don't even think I remember anything about how to do. There's an Apex file, but I'm pretty sure you can like just paint your own skeletal mesh. That's what I always understood how it worked. Let me just see here. Chaos cloth. It's already enabled. I'm gonna try to just bear with me here as I try and figure out how to do cloth, because I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'm just pretty sure you can just paint cloth internally. I don't think you need to have an Apex plugin set up pre-set up. That was, I mean, that is a workflow as well. Clothing tab. There it is. Clothing tool enables you to quickly create clothing for your characters and material. Using the selection, material IDs, painting, go on to selection, section selection. This guy. To select the material IDs. Selection. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing exactly. Which one is the cape? Oh, here it is. Fatima, you're here. Hey, look at this. I'm working on your stuff here. She says better late than never. I got your character not rigged. I got your character imported into Unreal with the skeleton. It's working out fine. But it doesn't have any textures, so hopefully you have your materials somewhere. And what I'm trying to do right now is just see if I can get some cloth working on this cape here. It would be kind of fun to try it out, rather than worry about the joints, just to see how it works. And then we'll try applying some animation to it and see how that goes, which also will take a bit of time. We got to set up this specially made skeleton. I had the textures, they were in a Chinese folders, zip folder. Alright, that's alright. I mean, I'm just glad you have them, because there's obviously a ton of material slots here, so each of them have to have their own texture materials hooked up, and it's going to take a bit of time to wire it all back up and make it look correct inside of Unreal, because you're going to find that some of them don't quite look what you're hoping. Although, you know, if it's a stylized character, hopefully the textures aren't too complex to get that same outlook in the end. But let me see if I can get this clothing more freeway, because I would like to know this anyways. Oh, we got a like from Ebenfear. Thank you for following. Following the steps below in the process to create a clothing asset. Selection includes all necessary tools, property using, and painting clothing. Oh, this is Fatima's friend. Just followed us. Thank you. So I'm gonna watch the replay of this later for sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, mostly it was just me trying to figure out what the rig was doing and how to work with it. And it's got a lot of joints, as you could have just seen there. So it's gonna be confusing to try and, you know, set it up, especially when I have to do the next stage, which is you're gonna be like, what? I don't even know what joints. The joint names are gonna be all crazy. So I don't know. It should be quite interesting. To start working with cloth, you need to create a clothing asset from your level of detail LOD section and assign it to your render mesh so that you can paint on it. Oh my goodness, that's what I gotta do. Create a clothing asset from your level of detail section and assign it to your render mesh. Do I have to go into... Wait a minute. How am I gonna do a level of detail mesh? This is the part I'm not very familiar with either, because I don't usually do LODs for skeletal meshes. Maybe it'll tell me what to do. That would be handy. Huh, he's already got 2 items here. Then right click on the... Oh, use the left click to select a part of your mesh you want to use as cloth, and then right click, open the context menu for your cloth asset. Oh, okay. That might be easy. Right clicking. Oh, okay, I gotta deselect the activate cloth paint first. And then I do create data from selection and assign it a name. Remove it from mesh. Doesn't say anything about that. From that physics asset. Alright, here's our little keep mesh. From the context menu, select the create cloth asset from selection. Oh, so I'm just doing what I've already did. Asset name, give it so it's easy to locate, remove from mesh. If you've got a separate mesh piece of geometry you want to be associated with the cloth, you can enable this option. If not, leave it unchecked. If this cloth asset is for a physics asset is for a character, use the physics asset here to get the proper collision for the cloth simulation. That's because the cloth will actually collide with the physics asset. Pretty sure. And then you hit create, right click on the selection again to bring up the context menu, hover over and apply the cloth. Apply clothing. It will associate any clothing assets created to the selection you just made. Painting on your cloth. Once you're ready, you can start painting your cloth. You can use the following controls to paint. So let's turn on activate cloth paint. I think we gotta do something about masks or something. I don't know what's going on here. Where's my brush? Ebon Fear says hi. I almost missed that. Paint, left mouse button, paint, 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 paint. Not working. Erase is shift left mouse button. Cloth preview is H. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I gotta turn off selection or something? Man, I so have never done this before. Like I thought, oh yeah, I'll get used to it. But I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I haven't done this before. If you've used NVIDIA's PhysX DCC plugin to create clothing, 3D Max, similar painting tools and other programs. I have done that. That was the part I am familiar with. In Skeletal Mesh Editor, go to the File menu window and select clothing from the list. Clothing. There's our tab. So open up the clothing panel. There's our cape. Click the Activate Cloth button. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. You have to have it selected first. And then in the clothing panel, you assign your cloth assets. Okay, then I could have picked it after this. Fatima says, whoa. In the cloth painting selection, select the paint tool and type, then use the select paint value. I'm not sure why they told me how to paint before they had told me how to get it set up to paint. Like, it was kind of misleading. Just use these keys to paint, and then I'll tell you how exactly to set it up so you can start painting. The cloth painting and value. Okay, so I'm pretty sure. Oh, and then you can hit H. I don't know. It's looking pretty not clothy. Now I gotta go figure out how to... How was it that you were supposed to paint? Shift left mouse button. Apparently erases. Cloth. Maybe it was H. I don't know. Shift right mouse... Oh, right mouse button. No. I don't know. I'm just additively painting all the time. Sorry, it says shift left mouse button. Dave says, got to drop for the rest of the stream. Simon, have a good night, everyone. All right, Dave, take care, man. Thanks for being here for the first hour. Dima, it's like a topographical surface thingy. Yeah, you're basically painting the influence of what will be cloth and what will be just geometry. So, Donald. Oh, I'm so late. It's all right. Got a whole nother hour to go, so you're not that bad. Right in the middle. We're just trying to figure out how to do this cloth and then hopefully get some cool results, and then I can go and try out the next thing we're gonna do. So we have a brush tool. Here it is. We do gradient, smooth, fill. But yeah, so the idea is that the white area is what will be cloth, and the pink area is just untouched, which would keep it optimized, I assume. And then we want to make sure that, so that when we press H, I guess, it's supposed to like fall like cloth, but brush tool enables you to paint a radius and strength value of your cloth across cloth asset. Here's my radius of my brush and my strength and fall off. Enable brush flow, ignore back facing. Oh, interesting. Sarah's got to go out brunch and thrift shopping with my bestie. All right, Sarah, take care. Thanks for stopping by and sharing your project. And then use the paint value. I assume. Yeah, no, it's all good. Happy to have something new to look at. It's always fun to see someone else's project and try it out. Audrey's This value controls the painted area. Directed 0 would mean that the skin vertex. Let me read what I'm reading here. 0 value would mean that the skin vertex could not move, and a value of 100 would mean that the skin vertex to move 1 meter from its original position. Oh, it's allowed to move 1 meter from its original position. So right now my paint value is at 100, so I definitely am making it so that it can move a lot. Maybe it doesn't actually settle like real cloth. It just kind of like has the overlap if some movements happen. Which would lead me to go, we should get some animation on this character so that we can see what it does. The gradient tool enables you to paint the gradual blend between the color cloth. When you're finished painting, press Enter key and to paint your gradient. What? Oh, for doing gradients. Yeah, gradients might be useful. It is actually really good to have that nice, super smooth transition. Because you can see, well, like what I've done here, you'll see that it's like it slices off. Probably is very appropriate to do that kind of thing for this. Smooth and fill and cloth properties. Ooh, cloth properties. Enable your cloth to simulate different types of materials. Wind method is legacy. Where are these cloth properties? Dima, I will be happily animate it for you if it helps. It's like, that's all I want to do. I just want to animate it. That way it curves smoothly from the center rather than the break. Yeah, like basically there is anywhere that is pink would be driven by animation joints, and anywhere that is white is being driven by physics. When we were working on Batman, we had a very, very careful algorithm for how to transition the influence from the cowl, the base of the cape down to the tip, so that it was like this very smooth transition that allowed the animation to not really, it would still be able to push stuff around, but it wouldn't completely drive the cape. And then we would just pick and choose if you wanted to have the cape to be full simulation or full animation. You can kind of pick and choose and blend back and forth. And it was a pretty good solution. But like it's more complex than what we're trying to do here. All we want to do is, so we can just get it to sit and rest. That's all I want to see it do. That would be cool. Then we could get a nice effect. And that's very convenient. Yeah. And there's masks. Masks are for, I assume, excluding areas. Max distance. Max stop distance. Cloth from skeletal mesh. Multiple skeletal meshes of the same type. A similar type. You can just steal that fabric. There is the flow chart for how the Apex cloth works. It's the legacy workflow. The gravity scale 2 times. Let's try beefing up the gravity. Not sure what. Oh, here we go. Just turn it off. Okay, well, we're definitely seeing some cape movement here. Let's jump over to the physics asset. There is a beautiful physics asset. Oh man, that cape does not have a lot of freedom. Vertical constraint, horizontal constraint, shear constraint, dampening, linear drag. Stiffness multiplier. Wow, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Plop. Yeah, that's this is another thing that you got to talk about is the physics asset. How do you make a physics asset that doesn't well, look ridiculous, really? And you can there's a whole dialogue about how to do this, rebuilding your physics asset stuff, and it's another area that I haven't touched in a long time, so I am. There's a way that you can get it to like just take all of the skeleton and just rebuild it, but I don't know why we only seem to have like one joint, so. Where is that option where you can rebuild it? What do they do with this thing? Oh well, whatever. I'm just gonna come back to this another time. I got too many other problems to deal with. But, you know, basically if you don't have a collision object, it's never gonna know where exactly the how to make the joints move. Oh, is this it? No. Alright, we'll go back to the mesh. So I'm gonna go with this lame setup for now. There's got to be ways that you can control allowing it to move more freely, and I'm sure it's in some of these check pieces there that is set up in a way that to stop it from being able to move too much at the moment, and then you just have to make it so that it allows more freedom. But it does seem to have this sort of restricted area that it's allowed to go in. Anywho's, so let's put some animation on it. That's an interesting topic to deal with here. So what we're going to do is go over to the skeleton. I don't know why every time I go to the skeleton it's blown up so far away like this. That is weird. Not sure what that's all about. I mean, it does probably use the physics asset as a slight preview of how big the character is, but create another physics asset that's from scratch. This is what I'm trying to get to. I just wanted to get to this window. I don't know why I couldn't find it. Capsules 20 units? Maybe it's a really tiny character. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Could be a really tiny character. Jump back to our Maya file. So, one way to find out if it's a really tiny character is to grab the measuring tool. It's under Create, Measuring Tool, Distance Tool, and there we go. Where locators are tiny. Maybe it's a really big character. And I'm going to hold V to snap to vertexes. So we have one locator on the top and the other locator just down here to be snapped to the bottom of the feet. And then we look at the number. Our number is 1,815. And if we take a look at our units for this particular file, we're using centimeters. So that's 1,815 centimeter unit character. So Fatima says, when I open it in Maya, it's actually showing as a giant person. Yeah, well, we are agreeing on her perspective here. It is a giant person, apparently. So we gotta fix that. Oh yeah, look at the scale on this main node is at 100. So let's make that down to 1 or 10. We'll bring this locator down. We are now 181 centimeters. Okay, so it's just that it's at the wrong units type. So divide it by 10, and it would be the right scale. Also, the joints are now much bigger too. All right, so I'm going to save this. And we're going to re-export it again. So we grab the mesh and the joints. Export selection. Make sure we have smoothing groups on and animation off. Jump back to Maya. Grab the skeletal mesh. And Unreal. Grab the skeletal mesh and do re-import. Oh, here it is. Fatima says, is that usually better when it comes to details and stuff? Yeah, it's definitely always a good idea to try to get your character mesh to be the right size in the real world scale. So 180 centimeters is like 6 feet. And it makes a difference in the physics asset because your physics asset is actually directly following the real life physics. So if he's a giant character, then he's going to fall really slowly. But if he's like a tiny character, then we'll have a much different look. So it makes a huge difference from physics point of view, but it also makes a huge difference if you're just trying to add the character to your scene. Like, you want them to actually look correct. And right now it's still really huge. So I'm not sure what I haven't done something properly yet. Noticing the scale of the geometry is frozen at 100 as well, which is not usually very comforting. Make sure that I've actually updated this properly. Yeah, no, that just got exported. Now there's another way that you can deal with it, but I don't really, like, I'd rather if it was just the right size when you actually import it, because otherwise you're basically you're getting unexpected results just from the start. Usually you kind of want to sort that stuff out originally. But if you go into your import settings within Unreal, you can change the transform so that its scale is, you know, at 0.1, and then when you re-import that, it'll come in 1/10 of the scale. Which is going to make it look correct, but you're really not fixing the source of the problem, which is, to me, kind of a concern. And I'm kind of surprised that this is not actually showing correct. I'm going to try freezing the scaling. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's got skinning. Alright, we'll just leave it like that, I guess. Oh, we could also try. See, what might be happening is because our skinning is, our mesh is changed. I don't know how you're gonna fix that without like breaking the skinning. I'm doing some crazy stuff right now. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm just trying to see what happens. Still seems to be working. I better leave that at 10. We're gonna re-export it again, just because I want to see what happens. There's something to said about the fact that I keep exporting it from this mesh instead of that mesh, and so this object is inheriting the scaling of that mesh or that object. Also possible that somewhere along the lines there's something else that's changing the scale. I don't know. But we're gonna see what happens when we just freeze the scaling of the geo. There's that confirmation window. I didn't get that last time. Let's put this back to 1. Let's see. Let's see what kind of destruction I've created. Destruction. Double rescaling, turning him into an ant. Yeah, he's gone super small. It has really gone tiny here. What is this? This is just... Oh no, the character's there, just rotated. I'm a little confused, honestly. That's me in the morning before coffee. Just planking on the floor. We can fix it by switching the re-import to 90 degrees. But, like, what's happening, right? Like, why are we, oh, that's not the right direction. We're obviously screwing stuff up. And it was probably because I froze the skinning of this geo. Because now the geo probably doesn't match the skeleton or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Even it's rotated. That was me because I froze the rotation of the skinning. So like, this is usually when you're in that situation, you have to actually like disconnect the skinning from the geo altogether, and then freeze it, and then reskin it again. And we can't actually do that, and then just do copy skin weights. But like, I'm trying to find a solution that doesn't involve thousands of different various micro tricks to get it to work. I'm not doing a very good job. Like, I'm basically going, hey, why is this so complicated? So we can just do it for fun, just for the sake of knowing what's going on. Ah, there it is. That's what coffee does to you. Levitate. Yeah. Well, we were fortunate enough not to see the explosion state that sometimes doing all this does, where your joints just go and it just drives the skinning everywhere. I'm going to take the skinning and duplicate it so that we have two of them. And this one I'm going to take and unlock it and freeze all. And then in the duplicate mesh, which is not skinned to the body. Oh shoot, none of them are skinned to the body. Why is it when I pick this side, nothing happens? Oh boy. I may have to start from scratch here. Oh, there we go. Oh, it worked. Maybe those are the twist joints I'm picking. Anyways, we have one skin that does work, one skin that doesn't work. We have the new mesh that we've taken, we've frozen it, or sorry, we've frozen it. I'm gonna lock those channels, and then what we're gonna do is take the. Jeez, this is more complicated than I thought. I gotta take all the joints and reskin them to this secondary mesh. So skinning, find the skin, joint hierarchy. Doesn't even matter what the bind method is because we're going to copy the skinning over. And max influence 5, I guess. Oh, let's go for it. Audio says you're doing great. It's fooling me, right? Just dazzle you with lots of menu screens. Make you think I know what I'm doing for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Alright, and then, so hopefully by doing that, we can pick a joint and rotate it, and we will see both meshes are now being manipulated. They're going to be slightly different from each other. As you can see, one leg is looking much worse than the other. But they're technically both influenced by it. So I'm going to take the original mesh and then grab the new mesh. I think that's the order. I could have it backwards. I should probably save it. Probably should save it as something other than what I'm doing currently. And then, so I've got two meshes selected, and I'm going to go up to skinning and say copy skin weights. Let's go take a look at the options. Closest point on surface, raycast, closest component. I think closest point on surface, they're the same geometry, so should match up. We'll apply that, and then we'll see if we did that properly. Hey, look at that, we did it. So now we have the new mesh copied over to the old mesh, or sorry, the old mesh copied over to the new mesh. So I can delete the old one. Now we have the new one that is all frozen, and it's skinned. It was skinned. I swear it was. We tested it. Alright, something's skinned. Just keep picking twist joints. This is probably like the worst example here because I keep picking the wrong joint. There we go. Alright, anyways, so now I'm going to grab the mesh and grab the joints, and we're going to do a file export selection, and hopefully we'll get a correct ratio to scale, or at least that's the theory. Let's just do a wild and crazy re-import base mesh. There we go. So we got the skeleton back. Character looks tiny, but maybe that's the right size. No, they're just really tiny. Or maybe really big, I don't know. No, it's the right size, look at that. You can always tell what size it is because the game start is a 6-foot character, so we're in the right scale here. Wow, hope that made sense. That was a bit more loopholes than I expected to have to, or loops to jump through than I expected. All right, let me try and save this. Test map. Okay, now let's do the animation part. So we open up this file. We don't need to necessarily see all the skeleton right now. And we're gonna go to this. Oh, see, we don't have a physics asset. Let's make a physics asset. Right click on the skeletal mesh, physics asset, create. Create. Oh, it still makes it with these giant capsules. I don't know why we're not getting like a nicer divide of capsules, but maybe there's just too many of them. Too many joints in one area. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll come back to that. We've lost our cloth, and that's okay. Always make it again. So what we got to do is get it ready for retargeting. That's what we're trying to do right now. So retargeting manager button, we go into the skeleton mode. It opens up the retargeting stuff. We're going to auto map skeletal select humanoid rig, and it puts down a whole bunch of joints that are your default retargetable skeleton. And then we got to go in here and go, okay, I got to match this, which I knew this was going to be a mess because it was like, oh no, when I was looking at it in when I was looking at it on Unreal or in Maya, I'm like, this isn't going to be good. Oh man, this is going to be totally harder than I thought. So you can kind of see what these joints are located at, but I think you can actually turn on Eagle Eyes activated. What? Hierarchy, and then there's one option here to show the bone names, which I don't know if that makes it better. It's like, oh yeah, now you really need eagle eyes. Ugh, it's the cape. Oh, I think I can actually disable. Maybe I can't. If you isolate something, does that make effect over here? No. Oh boy. Maybe we'll do it where we look at parents. Oh look, then it just has floating names. Oh my goodness, I picked the wrong thing. So this is why it's so useful to actually work with the correct file, because, you know, when I was demonstrating how to retarget in the open session, it was like so easy because we had two skeletons that were totally the same characters, and we could just be like, oh yeah, it's just you put this over here and you put over that over there and then you're done. But now you can see like there is a huge amount of variables that you have to worry about that could potentially put you astray. The neck bone is connected to the neck bone. The other 12 neck bones. I don't even know if I'm looking at skeleton. No, I must be looking at the arms. Like, I don't even see the spine joints. Like, where is all the spine joints? All I can see is like one joint from like the hips I don't even know which one it is. This one. And it goes all the way up to here, and then all of a sudden it splits off to the cape. And is there another one that goes up? Like, it's such a strange hierarchy here. Yeah, what's this one? That goes there, that goes there. Alright, so there's your spine joints. So really what you're trying to do is find the joints that really drive the motion in your retarget manager, and picking those ones. So, you know, which one is your root joint, and then which one is your pelvis joint, because, you know, I know what I'm doing. And then we got this one, and then another spine one, and another spine one, and then you should be around the clavicle at that point. So you're picking, you know, which is the clavicle on one side, and then what's your upper arm. Oh no, it doesn't even make sense. These joints are the cape joints. Yeah, okay. So looking at that and just realizing how impossible this is, I guess, you know, all their alternatives, just you could go into Maya and just start renaming the joints yourself manually, and then re-export them. It's going to cause a bit of chaos if you change the name of the joints. It's going to be like, whoa, your hierarchy's changed. But you just say, yeah, that's okay, and then they'll just override it. But you may have to go through here and actually rename these joints so that they're actually useful. Yes, another approach with that. She's saying, are you sure it's connected to the neck bone though? I don't know. Team, I'm glad I went through connecting the images together with their retrospective names in kindergarten. You just go back to your education from kindergarten on how to put the neck bone to the hip bone, or the spine bone, I guess. So right now you've got a bunch of jobs to do in order to just get to a point where you can retarget animation onto the character, which is the easiest solution that I was able to offer. So at that point, you're looking at how much work is it going to take this entire skeleton, rename it all, change the skinning, just so you can have sort of an abstract way to animate with it, because you're still going to animate with one character and then retarget to this character through Unreal, which that workflow is actually pretty decent. I mean, you can grab animations from all kinds of places like Mixamo and stuff and retarget them, and it works really quite nice. But until you get this retarget manager to be calibrated to this character, you're not going to get any of that retargeting to work. So where I'm going with this is your other solution could potentially be, let's just use this skeleton as reference and rebuild a new skeleton, and just create the joints based on the location of these joints, build a new skeleton all the way up, and then do that copy skinning that I just did, where it would go to a different, it would go from one skeleton to I don't know if it would go to a different scale. I've never done that before. There's another option here too, is to export weight maps, which is another way you can kind of like take it all out, turn it into like images, and then those images represent where the skinning is for each limb. Now, you know, that's another alternative that seems to be about equal amount of work. One, obviously, the second solution I just said is a lot more technical because you're basically building a new skeleton for it. And then you got to worry about all these cape joints and stuff. So that's a lot of work to rebuild all that accurately and skinning it properly. So I don't know. And I guess in theory you could have a separate skeleton for your cape that is different. Wait, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, if you separate the geometry of the cape and then... You got to get the skinning to match up though. Yeah, see, it's tough. I don't know. You've got a challenge on your hands, unfortunately. They can't really come up with a really good, like, oh, this is how you do it. If the character was just a simple biped character, then yeah, we could probably come up with alternative ways to re-rig the character. But this cape is like a lot of work to get it to work in such a way that looks nice and clean and smooth. So I don't really recommend trying to do that from scratch. But it wouldn't be involved in any of the retargeting, so none of that stuff is really that important for what we have to worry about. But you've got to go in here and rename all these joints to make sure that they actually match up to something that you can calibrate to. So you're going to be looking at this particular list and trying to find all those joints and match them up. And if you go to Show Advanced, you'll see there's another list for all the finger joints and stuff too. There's quite a lot of joints that have to sort of be built up. And these are just using the mannequin skeleton as the reference point. So I mean, if you wanted to, if you're really serious about renaming these joints, you could export the mannequin skeleton and put them in, and then just look at the mannequin skeleton here, and then just copy paste the joint names as you find out where they are, just to make it so that once you're inside of Unreal, you're just like, oh, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, and then you can start retargeting. I feel like I'm probably discouraging you more than I'm encouraging you at this point, just because can't come up with a good, easy solution. Actually, that's an interesting point too, to find someone who speaks Chinese, and then just say, well, what are these names of these joints here? Because I don't understand any of them. Like, it's a lot better. At least they don't have this crazy thing here. I think these are all like. Well, I was gonna say that it's a namespace, but I don't even see the namespace. I guess those are the names. That's the ASCII key code for each of the symbols. Interesting that they were able to translate that in Unreal for us. Yeah, I don't know. I'm tempted to move on to a new subject now, because I'm like, this is gonna be painful. I don't have anything else I can say to it. Yuma says, it's just a lot for me to learn because I haven't worked in rigging or Unreal before, but I was willing to try and make it seem impossible for an inexperienced, and this makes it seem impossible for an inexperienced student. Yep. Job well done. Sean says, my Mandarin sucks after years of not using it. Oh, well, that's interesting. Can't tell if Sean's saying that he has a possibility of helping us. Fatima says, my rigger friend is trying this on Blender. Yeah, okay. That might actually be... I mean, I don't use Blender, so I don't really know how many options you have available to you on that one. I'm not sure yet if you have tried this before, but he's having issues with giving the hands IK controls. Right. And that's where... like, having a control rig is basically much better than having just a set of joints, because all these need to have IK setups, and like, yeah, you can manually set up the whole thing with IKs and do it all properly, but it's so long and complicated. Like, I would say that is the hardest route of all, is to rebuild a control rig for this character. And it's not even like, even if you know how to do it and you do it and you know what you're doing, it still takes a long time because you screw up all the time, and then you have to go back and redo it and rechange it. That's why auto riggers are way better, because they've already been tested, they work, and you just like, once you get your dimensions and proportions figured out, then it just kind of already is a great animation rig. And then it's more of a matter of, you know, skinning your geometry to that new skeleton that was created under its own rules. And you know, it's not that crazy hard with advanced skeleton. You know, you could even use that tool set we were using the other day to build a rabbit rig to help the skinning work a little bit nicer, but you are going to have an uglier result with your skinning than it's currently set up. Like, someone probably invested a nice amount of time getting the skinning on this character to look nice, and you know, you're going to have to manually go in there and reproduce that quality if you create your own skeleton. Sean says, I'll plot my sister here next to me and translate it next time. That's funny. We just need someone to translate this. Tima, Sean, we should have had her on from the start. Well, that could always be a solution. I mean, honestly, you could just get somebody to tell you what the joints are. It might actually work out fairly well. Tima says, so they really spent a long time working on the characters. I'll catch you next time, says Sean. Oh, Sean's got to go. All right, Sean, take care, man. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it does take a long time to get these characters, and this is a very unique rig. I mean, I just, there's nothing here that I'm like going, oh, it's this type of rig, or oh, it's from here. It's very unusual, and it's got lots of twist joints, and it's very complicated. So until you kind of figure out where the source came from, it's very hard to, you know, like, it's possible that whoever rigged this had their own custom rigger, auto rigger that they used, that set it up so that they had their animation rig. But obviously the point is they didn't give you the animation rig, so all you're left with is the skeleton that the game engine needs in order for it to replicate. Sean's gonna get some breakfast. Awesome stream. Alright, thanks, Sean. Audrey, see you next time too, Audrey. Oh, it says Sean. Tima says, they gave us a PMX for MMD. What is MMD again? I forget, I'm trying to put the acronym together. Miku Miku Dance. Oh, that's the game. Original model was a PMX. Is that how you extract that from the game then? Hey, this is it right here. I mean, this is a version of it. And done. Oh, they're applying the materials. I think we're in the same problem though, aren't we? We're lacking a animation rig. Poly model extended. So it's only just a PMX is the successor of PMD. I'm not familiar with PMXs, so that's interesting. It does have good... Oh, it does not have good animation. Oh. It's a software made originally for quick 3D animation. Audrey says, if we start watching this, we're gonna all open a can of worms CG Spectrum is not ready for. Yeah. Let's start extracting meshes from games illegally. Pretty sure that's allowed. But it does not have good animation. And the simulation's hair cape are always off at some point because physics is everywhere. Oh yeah. Well, I understand. I mean, it's a tricky thing to do. And like, you know, basically it's months of work for somebody. It's just like their job. It's their rigor and building up a professional character like this. And then, you know, it's a big job for the animator to go and animate all this stuff, especially with cape joints and everything. It's a big deal. So the only thing we were trying to do is like, let's see if we can shortcut this and say, well, here's my skeleton and here's another animation I did. Let's just put that animation on this character. And that can happen. But you still need to apparently put some work into like breaking down those joints so that they are actually labeled in a way that you can read them, and then retargeting it. So, you know, you can still do it. It's just, there's going to be some work involved no matter what you do. I can send you this file that I have now, though, that exports into Unreal. And then, you know, you can just kind of figure out what you want to do next. All right, let's move on. We got 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get something done in the next 15. Oh yeah, no problem, 15 minutes. I'll definitely make sure I get that back to you. Now, we have two choices. No, I was going to leave this at the end. We'll do this maybe next week or something. This is the bringing in the MetaHumans plugin into Maya and see how that works, which we'll do next week because I don't want to rush that and then not have it finished at the end. What we can do, which is kind of fun and easy, is take a look at this landscaping plugin that we got from that was free. We're going to try that out instead. You can find that into wait, what am I missing here? Ema says, if I manage to rename the joints, will you help me next week? I can definitely, at the open sessions, just give me the file and we'll keep working away at it. Probably won't do it in the streams anymore because otherwise people will be like, what are you doing? You're still working on this. But for the open sessions, it's fair game. We'll just do whatever. That's what those open sessions are for. And then and we can keep working away at trying to solve it for you. But yeah, if you can get those joints renamed, I can probably get some animation on it, and then you can just figure out how you want to animate it. Cool, awesome. We're gonna move to the library, and we're gonna take a look at the where did I put it? Materials. Here it is. It wasn't me that put it. Oliver did it. And it's a free landscaping material that is you can just download, and it has some very cool features. Usually what you would find in like the Brushify assets, which you got to pay money for, but this one is free, and it allows you to put landscapes together. So I was just going to give it a little play with it, find out what it does, and it's built around being able to bring in Quixel assets. So we should be able to get it working pretty good. I've already downloaded it, but you can basically, it's like if you use the word Unreal 5 as your code, then you have to put like money in, but then with the code it ends up working out to be free, and you don't have to like put credit cards in or anything. You just add to cart, submit it, get it downloaded, so you can get the asset. I have it over here in my asset library. I have Brushify, Auto Landscape. All right, let's try and I'm gonna just paste this in here for a sec. Oh, landscape is an Unreal project. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Extract here. Let's throw this into temp. Oops. Alright, and we open it up. Now, this could potentially make my computer very slow, so we'll see how this works out. I'm hoping that it'll look pretty good. Yeah, so Brushify is a really helpful, very handy tool for doing landscapes, and particularly the materials on landscapes, which is, doing materials on landscapes is really complex, and it's totally different game than just doing a regular material for an object. So I've always been like trying to, you know, basically Brushify had some free ones for a month here and there, so I have a couple in my library, but if this ends up being something that you can just rely on as a base tool that you can work from, I think this will be really helpful. And I really like how like some of these features that they have are where's that, the object bombing or whatever they call it? It was really neat. It's like it takes oh, what's this? It takes the repeating pattern. Here it is. Every texture you put on any landscape ever is got this repeating pattern. Like it just looks like it's the same. Doesn't matter how good of a texture you make, there's always going to be something in it that's going to look like a repeating pattern. But this option apparently just kind of like takes it and scatters it in a sort of a cell way or something, and it removes that pattern look, which I'm like, man, that should have been, that is such a cool feature. I don't know why that isn't just a default option in Unreal. And then he's got all the blueprints nicely set up too, so that you can get in there and change it and fix it. I'm waiting for this landscape to open. It's like still 45%, so we'll see. We'll see how long this takes. I'm like, I haven't really tested this before. I've only got 9 minutes to go. Maybe we'll jump back over to this video while we're waiting for this to open. This is one of those arguments of like, I should really open these things before my stream in case they do take forever to open. Not really sure what this guy's angle is on making this asset free, but it is pretty cool. This is too. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's still loading. 45%. What was also on my list? While we're waiting, let's go check out some other stuff. I'm gonna quickly try and figure out, see if I can get this bridge thing with the plugin, and see if I have to solve something there. So Quixel Bridge, where you bring in Quixel assets. Under the metahumans. Install the update. Oh no, this is the other project. Gotta make sure I save that. Just finished downloading the update to the bridge update, and then it said you need to get an update on your bridge update. I don't know, I might be in an infinite loop here. I am. It's an infinite loop. I'm gonna do that later. Oh, plugin. Just saw that show up there. Oh, now I gotta log in. Oh, that was easy. Yay. Let's see here. Export settings. We're gonna switch this to Maya. Download plugin. It was that easy. Okay, install plugin. How do you know what? It's just installed? You didn't have to ask which Maya version or anything? Oh man. Didn't even have Maya closed. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna open up Maya 2022. See if we have a plugin here. Let's see here. Where's that? Oh, here it is. Exporting. Export settings, plugin. I'm pretty sure I looked for this last week and I didn't find it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't look in the right place. It's all plugin. I installed. And then you export it after that. So you got to open up Maya. All right. Well, we'll see if it can port it over to this Maya 2022. I got Maya open here. I'm gonna go back to bridge and okay, hold on. What was I supposed to do? Back to the informational panel. $2K. That's not even an option. I don't know. I'm gonna do 8K. Error. Could not export asset ID 2 because does not have source assets. Alright, I'm gonna open up Maya 2020. I feel like that might be Steven says sounded so sad. It's probably something, my reaction or something. And where's the there's another Maya. Oh, this is Maya 2020, so it takes half an hour to load. One of the drawbacks. Okay. What version it was? What version it was? Oh wait, yeah, when installing and having it not prompting you. Oh, that part. Let's see if we're gonna try this again. With my 2020 open. Could not export because does not have source assets. Doesn't have source assets. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm not actually... Well, it says it's downloaded. Let's do a really basic one. They all say 8K though. It seems very suspicious. I guess what they're looking for is the FBX, the original FBX for it, but like it says it's downloaded, so I don't know. Oh wait, is there one of these checkboxes for source assets? What's this? No. Source asset. You can just choose source asset. I think it's overkill to do all these LODs. Maybe I'm making a mistake. I'll just do them all. Let's not do that. Download all LODs for 3D plants. For 3D plants. Polysource. Okay, so we're gonna go for just the source assets. And it doesn't even ask whether I want to download it or not. I don't know. Whatever. I definitely downloaded the source asset before, so I will never know the answer to that. Oh wait, no, that only has... Wait, that was it. Export. Try this over here. Model, source asset. Export target installed. Back. Export. No. I feel like this is not intuitive. How do I like, oh, reset to default? No, how do I get it to like undownload? How do we start over again? Oh well, guess I'm gonna run out of time and never know any fun answers for this, unfortunately. Oh, but look, my landscaping thing opened. So yay, landscaping. We'll just ignore the fact that I failed to figure that out. It is downloading something though, so. Anyway, I'm pretty much out of time now, but we'll just do a quick little look here. Nice landscape and material. This is an actual dynamic landscape. So that must be a height map or something. Very nice. You get down in there. Oh, it's not even like textured at all. It's like, it needs to finish compiling materials for this to actually work. This is just default Unreal material. There you go, I got 5,000 materials to do, so I will definitely have lots of things to talk about next week as we uncover both the how to do the Quixel exports and I don't know what's going on over here. And how to do the landscaping brush. So 2 things we can talk about next week. Should be good. So anyway, thanks for everybody for joining the stream tonight. Appreciate the company and the chat. Audrey's just going to pretend that everything worked out great. That sounds good. And Tima says, thanks for the effort. Still informative to know what works and what doesn't. That's right. That's kind of what these streams are great for, is I just keep trying out what's going to happen and then give you guys the heads up in terms of what to expect. Have a good end of the week and weekend, you too, Audrey, and everybody else. Your Hard Arcade just shows up at the last second because it's first thing in the morning, so fair enough. I don't wake up that early. Hello, welcome, and I'm just about to shut down, so thanks for making it. It is recorded, so you can always watch the whole stream. We talked about how to do FK, or how to do exports into Unreal, so or at least talked about skeletons and or skeletal meshes and all that good stuff. Anyways, I will leave it there. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you again next week. Take care.